Hello and welcome to another Boonedox installation tutorial. We're focusing on technique for fitting your UHMW stiffeners and using a line to get your backing plates into areas that are impossible to reach with your arm. We have a couple different views from a Hobie Outback to demonstrate these techniques, and one of the hulls is cut in half to give an even better idea of what's going on once you've pulled your plates through the hatch. Begin by locating the position you'll mount your landing gear knuckles. In this case, we've chosen the inside position of the Outback, and we recommend you do the same. The outer edge of the gunnel is still an option using the 8-inch bars, but we won't be showing that in this tutorial. Loosely attach the aluminum gussets to the knuckles, then insert the spacer bar to determine the position of your Groovy landing gear. This will also tell you where to mark your spacer bar for cutting the length. Once the knuckles are in the correct position, mark the hole position for each gusset. Now that you've determined your position, it's time to cut out your UHMW stiffeners. Plain paper can be used to make the pattern, but I've used painter's tape here in order to keep the pattern from sliding around on the Kayak or the stiffener. Once the pattern is drawn and cut out, trace it onto the stiffener block and cut with a bandsaw, jigsaw, or similar. Clamp the stiffener to one of your 5-inch backing plates to mark the holes, then drill them with a 3/8 drill bit. Now that your stiffeners are cut and drilled, let's cut the spacer bar to length. The easiest way to do this is to place one factory end 1/2 inch past the outer set screw hole, then tighten the set screw. Align the other side according to the marks you made earlier and tighten the outer set screw on that side. This will create a small circle on the spacer bar. Measure 1/2 inch from that mark to the other end and mark with a square. Now you only have to make one cut to the spacer bar. Remove the gussets from the knuckles and keep close by. Drill out the holes in your Kayak for the 5/16 stainless bolts. The 3/8 hole is not too big but will allow some wiggle room. Using 2 bolts that will easily pass through the 5/16 holes in your backing plates, assemble with the stainless steel plates on bottom and the stiffener on top, with the stiffener pointed at the right direction. Cut a long enough piece of braided fishing line to attach to the end of each bolt as well as the bolt head. The line attached to the bolt head will help you retrieve them from the hole once installation is complete. Using a piece of sturdy wire or a coat hanger, fish through the hole and hook the appropriate fishing line. The hole you go through will determine this. Try not to switch them up or you'll have to repeat. During this step, be sure to stay outside of any cables or lines that may become an obstruction. I've demonstrated what can happen if you pull through the rudder cables rather than around. From here you can attempt to remove one of the small bolts and pull the stiffener through using only one, or you can pull both strings together. The 2-bolt method is pictured here, but I have been able to get it in place using only one, and using one frees you from the issue of straddling the cables. The option's yours. Carefully pull the strings, being careful not to spin the assembly around or get the lines twisted in the process. Depending on the boat, the plate can catch on the lines even if they aren't crossed, but you can just work the strings up and down until it goes into place. When the bolts come through, you will end up with something like this. At this point, keep a good grip on one of the small bolts and drop one back into the hole. Align with the hole of one of the aluminum gussets and with the washer in place. Run your first 5/16 bolt through the hole, stiffener, and fasten into the backing plate. Over-tightening may create an issue for the other hole, so be careful not to do that. Repeat these steps with the other gusset and washer. Once the backing plate and gussets are secure, retrieve the guide bolts and repeat the process for the opposite side of the Kayak. Now that the gussets are in place, use the 1/4-20 bolts and track nuts to fasten the knuckles to the gussets. You may want to remove the spacer bar for this step if it's still attached. When the knuckles are in place, reinstall the spacer bar and fasten using all 4 set screws. At this point, you can make any minor adjustments you see fit, then tighten everything down hard. Don't forget to retrieve your guide bolts from inside the hull. The hard part's done. Install the wheels to the stainless steel legs using the provided pins and insert the square end of the leg into the appropriate knuckle. Your Boonedox Groovy landing gear is now ready to get you on and off the water with ease. Thanks for watching, and we hope this tutorial helped with your installation.